Alright, this last little video on the first and second welfare theorem has a figure pretty similar to the last one, except now we have the competitive equilibrium budget line. Goes to the original endowment. You'll recall for this economy that the relative price is proportional to the ratio of the total amount of y to the total amount of x. Right now that's 148 over 120, which is an ugly fraction, which explains why this allocation does not have a nice integer value to it. So I'm going to make the total endowment of the economy equal in x and y. So let's make the y value 130, and let's make the x value 130. So that will make the equilibrium relative price 1. And now you see this is a nice integer value over here. Okay, and so let me show that now we only have the ability to move the red dot along the budget line. So that's a lot of x. We can lower the amount of x on the budget line, but then therefore increase the amount of y. And since the relative price is 1, you should note that 62 plus 36 adds up to 98, so does 25 plus 73. So we're staying on the budget line as we lower the amount of x. So here's a proposed trade to 59.39. Let's in fact do what we did in the previous diagram. Let's move the initial allocation out of this proposed trade, 59.39. So we're moving x to 59. And then we're going to move y to 39. And it may not be obvious until we're done here, but this is back on the original budget line. Now, the indifference curves are still crossing here, but the lens is very small. It looks like if you lower the amount of x a little bit and increase the amount of y, you'll make them both better off. So let's try doing that. See, it says A approves the trade. So let's move us. Oh, what's happening here? There we go. So we're at 52.46. And let's try even going a little further, 51, 50.48. Let's try that, and let's try, in fact, I know that's the actual competitive equilibrium. So let's move this thing to 49.49. This is the competitive equilibrium allocation. So I'm going to move x to 49 here, and I'm going to move it to 49 over here, and let's take a look at what it looks like when we're done. There we are, and notice what happened. The budget line is tangent to the indifference curve through this point, and the indifference curves are tangent to each other. So the first welfare theorem says at the competitive equilibrium, since both indifference curves have to be tangent to the budget line, they are tangent to each other, so the competitive equilibrium is Pareto optimal. The second welfare theorem says the reverse. If you start with a Pareto optimum and the indifference curves are tangent, you can find a budget line that actually is the common tangent, and therefore there are prices that support that Pareto optimum as a competitive equilibrium.